Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to this special edition prediction that I'm doing with the man Ignorant Behavior. It's Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wallin. Who wins and why? And I wanted to have this discussion with you, Gary, because, we're really excited about this event going down in Saudi Arabia, Day of Reckoning. It's going down tomorrow from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Shout out to the Arab homies. Shout out to the Arab brothers putting it together. And, it's a really exciting card. I did my prediction on Wilder versus Parker. We talked about it at the last podcast. We both feel like Wilder should win that fight. I believe Parker is more of a live underdog than most people. But now we're going to talk about Joshua versus Wallin. You know what I mean? And you've had time to look over it. I've had time to look over it. I want you to tell me what you think about this fight.
Well, I had time to look over it, but it doesn't change anything from what I thought. I still got Anthony Joshua beating him. Only thing that changes, I'm like, maybe gets him out even earlier. Maybe like if he's on top of his game, maybe like fifth round.
Wow.
It's kind of like that. Only because it's just, Anthony Joshua has a 4-inch reach advantage, right?
True.
True. He's heavier. He's like what, 20 pounds heavier? Because he's like 250. Otto Wallin is like what, 230 or something?
I would say,
I would say exact number.
Definitely the bigger man. Man.
He's the bigger man. To me, he's the better athlete. Even though he's flat-footed, he don't really use. He did when he won. He started trying to do that. I think he's the better athlete. I think he's the more explosive. I think he's the harder puncher.
Yeah.
Otto Wallin, what he has like Otto Wallin has like 20. He has like what is it, like 28 wins, 29 wins, and only like 14 of them are knockouts. And most of the knockouts are against.
He's got a 50% KO ratio. Definitely Anthony Joshua with the more of the knockout power,
Mm-hmm. So, Anthony Joshua is more known for the power than he is. And I'm just looking at it like Otto Wallin, he's a decent boxer. He's not he's not Usyk. What I mean? He's a pretty solid boxer, but one thing I noticed about him is, once you start pressuring him, coming down on him, even if you look at when he fought Fury, this is before Fury was pressuring guys. Fury at the beginning started trying to box him, and it gave him some confidence. He started coming forward, trying to get inside of Fury, and started coming forward, landing some shots. But then when Fury got, he got the little cut and everything, and he started pressing forward. Otto Wallin didn't know what to do when that big man started pressing forward on him, and he didn't know what to do. And then you can say, "Oh well, that was back then. He learned. He got better." His last fight was a split decision against a guy who I don't think is in Anthony Joshua's class, and Anthony Joshua it's still the same thing. Once he backed him up against the ropes, he does that high guard and he kind of gets low and he kind of just sits off the ropes and just tries to turn out or whatever to get off the ropes or whatever. But he doesn't do good when you're walking him down. He does not do good. And Anthony Joshua being the bigger guy, longer arms. If I was Anthony Joshua, I would jab him, push him back into the ropes. If you can cut off the ring on him and keep him against the ropes, he likes to be in the middle of the ring. That's where he wants to be at. He wants to be able to operate that way. But since he is the shorter guy, shorter reach, he's going to have to get inside a little bit. And when Anthony Joshua is walking him down, I don't know. I even want to call a shot.
Do it.
I want to call an uppercut. Uppercut is going to be what does it.
That's a good punch from Joshua.
Uppercut. He's going to catch him with an uppercut, and he's going to end it. That's what I think. Wow. That's what I think is going to happen. He's what's his nickname? All in. He's going to be all in the grave. The only thing that's going great for him is he didn't have to get hit by Deontay Wilder. They gave him Fury. Not Fury. They gave him Anthony Joshua. And, I mean, it's a good matchup because if you look at it on paper, you're like, wow, this guy only has one loss. Anthony Joshua has 3 losses. You know what I mean? He's been knocked out before, and then you're sitting here and you're going, okay, this guy is 2 years younger than Anthony Joshua. So it may be this may be a fight. This guy's on a 6-fight win streak.
Yeah.
And it sounds good. It's the perfect guy, but he's going to be there for Joshua to hit. This ain't Tyson Fury, or this ain't that's moving around. This ain't Deontay Wilder that's going to make him weary. This ain't even Andy Ruiz, who has power and fast hands in a mix, in a combination.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's not really great at anything. He's a pretty solid boxer.
Yeah, but he's a solid boxer. Yeah, he's a solid fighter. And I appreciate that prediction, and I like that prediction, man. And, part of me kind of sways towards a late fight stoppage for Joshua. But I'm going to take the conservative route on this one, man. I think it's a later stoppage for Joshua. I would say probably between round 9 and 12 is where I'm seeing it. Only because I feel like Wallin is a live dog, man. And the reason I feel like he's a live dog is because, I agree with you that the way Fury was able to beat Wallin when he was in real danger was he had to put a lot of pressure on him. And I think Fury, if you remember, he had to do that because he had the big old cut over his eye. That Wallin caused,
Yeah.
So, but is Joshua still that guy? Man, we haven't seen that Joshua since, like I've said over and over again, the first Andy Ruiz fight. He just doesn't come forward and seek and destroy like he used to. He's much more cautious. Even in his last fight against Hellenius, he was very, very cautious and waited something like 3 or 4 rounds too long, I think, before he finally opened up and went after the guy. If he's going to be cautious like that with a younger, more athletic Otto Wallin, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get him out that soon. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get him out at all. I'm just thinking that Joshua, he's due for a great performance, right? We've seen a lot of mediocre performances from him lately. But now the bright light is on. It's the day of reckoning, Gary. We got all the heavyweights competing. There's a lot on the line, and the pressure, it busts pipes or it makes diamonds, Gary. And he's in Saudi Arabia, and this is a man of Nigerian descent. And even though it's not the same thing, I believe it's more of a home court advantage for a Nigerian in Saudi Arabia than it is for a Swedish guy, if I'm being honest with you. And so I just think, man, the stars are aligning for him. They have to align for him. He has to have a big performance here so he can take on Deontay Wilder coming up, and then the winner of that maybe gets the winner of Fury.
I mean,
this is what I'm seeing. Now, I will say, I do think Wallin has a chance as well. I mean, again, Joshua has just not been the same guy for me, but he's got to find it in himself somewhere. And here's the other issue. He changed trainers again, man. He left Derek James, and now I believe he's with Ben Davison, who was Tyson Fury's coach for the first Wilder versus Fury.
Wilder fight, yeah.
So he's changed trainers again, man. It's like he's still trying to find himself after that Andy Ruiz loss, bro. And that's what concerns me about Anthony Joshua.
Man, bro, Anthony Joshua used to be your dude, man. Oh man, you're so down on him, man. I mean, you're like a guy that's in this. You're like a guy who's in his 20th year of marriage. Like the bitch used to cook and clean.
Hey, man.
She don't cook and clean no more.
Hey man, he's like that 50 Cent line, man. Damn, homie. Back in high school, you were the man, homie. And he was the man for a while, bro. He was the man. And listen, as far as big ticket items, Anthony Joshua's a big ticket item, man. Let me tell you, he's the Canelo of the heavyweight division, if you ask me. He's the other face of boxing, bro. Not everybody can sell out entire arenas the way this guy does. You know what I mean? So I'm just
Man,
hoping. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel bad for your wife. You probably put a lot of pressure on her to be like she was in her 20s. You're like, God damn, do
You
that thing you
know,
used to do, babe.
I want to stay on topic, but something beautiful happens to a woman at the age of 40. But anyway, we'll continue talking about. We'll continue. We'll continue talking
Hey,
about the fight. But yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying. I think, right? I mean, do you see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
no,
Like,
I get what you're saying. I do hate when guys just keep changing trainers because I feel like you got to give time for a trainer to work with you and develop you into that style. Because like Derek James, I felt would have been advantageous to this fight because what does Derek James do? He teaches his fighters to stay behind the jab. He's very jab, 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 and I think in this fight because you have the you have the reach, and I seen Hellenius. If you go look at some of the fights, like even going back to Tyson Fury fight, because that's I would say equivalent to who Joshua Wilder, Usyk, all these guys are on the same stature or whatever.
yeah,
So go back to that fight. One thing that was very effective for Tyson Fury was the jab. It was backing him up with the jab, and then
yeah,
he jab him up, hit him with the 1-2. That jab backed him up, and I think if you can back him up into the ropes, you can possibly get a knockout quick. You know what I'm saying? So I that's just what I think.
You know what? That's a good observation. But you know what else that I forgot to discuss about this fight and that we've glossed over so far? These guys met twice before in the
In the
amateurs,
amateur, yeah.
and Anthony Joshua won both of those. And so, I'm sure he thinks he has the advantage. And that's an important advantage to have because the amateurs, of course, it's like a point fight,
Yeah.
You're just trying to score points for the most part. So he probably feels he could go in there and outbox him, and maybe that'll make him comfortable enough to go in there and let his hands go a little bit more. But either way, I think Wallin is a real live dog. I've seen his competitive spirit. He showed he had no fear in him when he fought Tyson Fury. He went right after Tyson Fury. And that mentality, he's kind of got a nothing to lose mentality here. And he really does have everything to gain here, man. And he's a live dog. And Joshua better be ready for this guy because this guy's no joke. And listen, only half an inch shorter than him, a year apart in age, just 1 year younger, I think, something like that. You said he's got the 4-inch reach advantage, but, Wallin's pretty quick and a good boxer himself, a nice long amateur pedigree.
Well, see, this is my thing is when you talk about amateurs is more about being a boxer.
Yeah.
And so if it's a point style. It's not about, they talk about, you hear guys talk about in the amateurs, you're not trying to knock guys out, you're trying to get points. You're not trying to damage guys, you're trying to get points, which is kind of like a point style karate or whatever. That's what those guys in and out, they kind of doing all this stuff, all those different types of things. So if you couldn't beat him when it was strictly about, well, I won't say strictly about it, but it was mostly about boxing a guy, you couldn't beat him. What are you going? Yeah, what are you going to do when it's not just about boxing, but also hurting a guy, getting a guy out of there? And you don't do that to the top competition really like that. And he does. He does. He gets him out of it. He has the power, and he beat you at your game. And so I just feel like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he has nothing to lose, and the only thing he has to gain is CTE. That's it.
So for you, 6-round stop. So you're sitting on a 6-round stoppage prediction.
Uppercut. 6-round uppercut.
Uppercut. I'm gonna go with 9th round, maybe 10th, right hook. I'm gonna say right hook. And
I just feel like you want to go longer than me.
Yeah. So knuckleheads, there you have it. That's our prediction. That's our who wins and why. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, join the channel to help us continue to build. Get your Fighters Rep merchandise in the links below to help us build. And don't forget, Fighters Rep tickets for 21 and 22 are on sale right now at FightersRep.com, along with the pay-per-view. So be sure to join us on February 17th, and March 2nd for Fighters Rep 21 and 22. Gary, you got anything else for them before this card tomorrow?
Nah, I'm good. I'm ready.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.